Hello everybody, thank you very much for your interest and welcome to our webinar on BSCI Sustainable Wine Program, which has just been launched beginning of this week. The history of wine is closely linked to that of human civilization. Wine exports have doubled over the past 20 years. Europe maintains its position as the global leader, exporting 58% of its annual production, and the newer wine production countries such as New Zealand, Chile, Australia and South Africa have increased their export volume by 370%. But what role does sustainability play in the wine industry? In the next hour, we will analyze sustainability in the wine sector, explore social and environmental obstacles related to wine from the perspective of our three pioneers who joined our program and from the BSCI program manager, and we will learn about the new launched BSCI Sustainable Wine Program. We do have a couple of speakers which I would like to introduce and to welcome. The first is Gry Oxenholt, who is the responsible procurement consultant for the Dansk Supermarket Group, which is Denmark's largest retailer. She is an active member of the BSCI Capacity Building Working Group and Food and Primary Production Working Group. She has experience with sustainability in both non-food and food sector. Welcome, Gry. I would also like to welcome Delia Gomez, who is specialized in environmental management and sustainable development. As a value chain CSR manager of El Corte Inglés, she is in charge of the coordination of the supply chain CSR department since 2015. Welcome, Delia. Then we have Patricio Parra, who is manager of research, development and innovation of the National Wine Association Wines of Chile. As part of his functions, he is responsible for the administration of the Sustainability Code of the Chilean wine industry. He has been working for more than 22 years in the field of sustainable agriculture and innovation. Great to have you on board, Patricio. Last but not least, we also do have Veronica Rubio. She's our BSCI Strategic Senior Issues Manager and has been working for the FTA since 2009. She's managing the food and system teams and working groups. She promotes social compliance in the food value chain, and she's also the developer and program manager of the Sustainable Wine Program. And by the way, I'm the social system officer of BSCI, working very closely with Veronica on diverse projects. Thank you very much for joining us today. We plan to have an interactive session today without too many slides, but we will start with a discussion now. We will then have the opportunity, you will have the opportunity to answer some questions in between, and then we will continue with the discussion, and at the end we will have another Q&A session, and we will wrap up the session and summarize the key messages from today. And from here I would like to go immediately into the discussion and start with Gry. So Gry, actually Dansk Supermarket has been the first BSCI participant to sign up for the Sustainable Wine Program, and we are very excited about that. So would you please tell us a bit about your motivation to join the program?
Yes, of course. We see the Sustainable Wine Program as an opportunity to be a part of impacting the future of the wine production and to move the production obviously in a more sustainable direction. And that's something that Supermarket would like to be a part of. As you mentioned, we are Denmark's largest retailer, and we feel we have a responsibility to actually offer different choices to the Danish consumers. And this program is going to help make the sustainable choice more accessible in the wine category. Also, being a member of the work groups, it's my perception that the program is very much in line with the members' expectations, and it's the right path and the right direction to take to join the human rights issues with the environmental issues, just like in the general FTA direction where BSCI and BEPI has been joined under sustainability.
That sounds very good, Gru. Thank you very much. I think that gives us a good impression of why Dan Supermarket is interested in engaging in the program. Now I would like to know from you, Patricio, when you talk about the Wines of Chile members, which are basically wineries and vineyards, what is their impression about their major social and environmental challenges? And do they coincide with the market viewpoint?
Okay, hello everybody. I don't know if you can hear me well. So thank you very much for the invitation to this webinar. Well, Wines of Chile or Vinos de Chile, we started with the program in 2011. And we have a group of different enterprises in the wine sector, sorry, which represent more than 90% of the production and export. Of course, companies have their own vineyards and facilities, bottle plant and wineries, but we also work with the supply chain, especially for grape producers. And in terms of challenges, of course, I think the main one is the social one, not because we are not ready prepared, but the social aspect implies the change of the culture of the company. If we were talking about sustainability, we need to include the social aspect, and of course the paperwork, how to build relationships with their communities. The grievance is also an important and key issue. And in terms of environmental challenges, water and soil management, they are very important, and also how to implement the integrated pest management. And we consider our values, our commitment, but of course the market and the market point of view, especially the social part.
Thank you very much, Patricio. That sounds really interesting. I would like to know from Delia, according to the OIV, Spain is the country which covers the greatest distance of vineyards both in the EU and globally, producing 38.2 MHL in 2014, which represents 14.1% of the total world's production, which then equals makes it the third top producing country. At the same time, wine consumption is part of the culture. So do you anticipate any impact in the implementation of the program due to its double position of Spain being producer, exporter and consumer?
Hello. Yes. As a matter of fact, indeed, the program will also be a pioneer in this regard. We are going to be conducting BSCI audits at Spanish wineries and vineyards. And the sector, the wine sector, is extraordinarily important in Spain for the country in terms of volume, number of workers, and exports, and also for the image of Spain. So it's going to be really important for us to be part of this program. Yes, it's the third. Spain is the third country in terms of value, and is the first country in terms of volume. So it's going to be really huge for us. And I really like the integrated perspective of the program. So because, as Patricia said, it's very important to integrate the social aspects, environmental challenges, and I think the integrated and holistic approach of the program is going to be fantastic.
Thank you very much, Delia. Now I would like to question Veronica a little bit. When listening to the other speakers, Veronica, do you get the impression that the brand new Sustainable Wine Program will fit their expectations? And I would also like to know what the starting point was for, and the reasoning behind for BSCI to start the Sustainable Wine Program. So we're still waiting for Veronica. She's speaking, but we can't hear her, so we are trying to sort this out. But we received a question from Delia that she forgot to say something, so if you would like to take the opportunity to fill the time in between, please feel free to do so.
Yes. Something which is also important in Spain is the internal consumption. It's mainly covered by the national so-named DOP, which is the origin denomination. Like, for example, Rioja, Ribera del Duero, Valdepeñas, or Bierzo, it's a long list. So that's also important to have in mind.
Thank you very much. Let me see where we are with Veronica.
Yeah, sorry for that. An angel came to visit me actually because thanks to Isolde, I got back on track. So yeah, your question, could you please repeat it so I get a little bit
Of course, yes. Just one question. You were able to listen to the speakers, right?
Yes, I did.
So you were following. Okay,
yeah.
Great. So basically, I wanted to ask you what kind of impression do you have if you listen to all the speakers, what has been said by now, if you have the impression that it will fit their expectations with regard to the Sustainable Wine Program, and I would also like to know what the starting point was and the reasoning behind for BSCI to start the Sustainable Wine Program.
Thank you, Monique, for this question, because I was hearing Gru and Delia and Patricio talking about the reasons why they think the Sustainable Wine Program is a good choice for them, and I was really delighted to see that it seems that we understood what our members need, and with this program we can definitely go fit their expectations and beyond. And I mean, the first reason why we probably are doing that is because we designed this program in collaboration with the members. As you know, Monique and the audience, BSCI, when you look at the BSCI food members, they sell more than 40% of the wine consumed in Europe. So that gives us a great leverage in terms of opportunity to generate impact in the supply chain mapping this wine. So we were really excited about that opportunity. We have several meetings with members that are already working in sustainability in wine, and then in this context we felt that we could tackle the persistent social issues that we already know they're happening in the wine sector, such as social workers, seasonal workers vulnerability, or the great level of accidents and injury rate, as well as pesticide exposure. All that made us to understand that maybe a good, very specific program will make sense in the context of BSCI. At the same time, we wanted to go further in our collaboration with other initiatives, such as Wine of Chile, with whom we have signed a memorandum of understanding already in 2014, and we wanted to promote our values and principles in the wine sector. And of course, the discussions with Wine of Chile have been always very constructive, and together we've been identifying the key performance indicators that are common to both of us and potentially to other associations, so we can create common ground for dialogue, exchange of ideas, and eventually create positive impact in lives of workers working in the supply chain, so from grape production to final bottle. So I think we are ambitious, but we are in the right track.
Thank you, Veronica. That sounds indeed very ambitious. I just have one question. If I Google sustainable wine programs, I find plenty of them. So how do you, I of course did my homework. So how do you explain this program is different from others out there in the market?
Oh, you are challenging me, huh? Yes, I think you are right, actually. There are indeed a lot of different programs, blogs, news talking about sustainable wine. There is I think, a great realization from the market, particularly wine producers, and probably Patricio can also comment on this, that the sector will be very much affected by climate change. I mean, for example, I read some time ago already that Spanish leading winemakers are heading for the hills to keep ahead on global warming, because they have assessed the climate change risk, and they perceive that the Catalonian traditional wine producing regions that are producing today will not viable within 40 to 70 years. So they are already foreseeing the impact of climate change for the entire sector. So particularly leading winemakers, they are taking sustainability very seriously, and that's why there is a lot of programs talking about sustainable supply chain or for in the wine sector. However, what I also notice is that in these programs, sustainability is perceived mainly as environmental sustainability, and there are very little about such as good productivity or fair prices for winemakers and farms, and environmental aspects such as soil management or water management or pesticides. Our program goes beyond this perception and integrates all the BSCI 2.0 elements of a company's responsibility to conduct human rights due diligence in their supply chain. So I think that is really unique element of our program, as well as its own theory of change based on capacity building and exchange of experience among peers. I think that is a pretty unique approach.
Thank you, Veronica. That sounds very complex and very ambitious and very good to me. And I think it gives us a very good idea about what the program is all about and how does it compare to other programs out there in the market. And I would like to take the opportunity now to take a few questions from our audience. It seems like that we only have one so far. So Veronica, maybe you can very quickly explain what the goal of the program is?
Yeah, so basically we have identified, let's say, 4 goals where we would like to work to, at the end of 3 years, visualize the positive impact we have generated. And those 4 goals are empowering workers, particularly seasonal workers, at both at wineries as well as vineyards. Then probably not this year, but the coming year, strengthening wine cooperatives in those countries where exist, because it's not the case for all wine producing countries, but in some countries such as Argentina or Spain, cooperatives are quite important vehicle for sustainable development, and we want to strengthen that position. We also want to reduce the work injuries and pesticide exposure, and we want to improve and raise awareness of water promotion and water management and soil management at the vineyard, sorry. So we will create the specific KPIs for the different goals and start visualizing quarterly the impact we are generating with this project.
Thank you, Veronica. I think that's a very clear answer of the goals of the program. And as a side note, please feel free to ask more questions or make comments if anything is unclear, or if you would like to know more about the program, and our speakers will try to cover this at the end of the session. Now I would like to continue with Delia. Delia, Spain has around 4,000 wine cellars, of which the majority are small scale, which very often form cooperatives. So do you think this cooperative model can support in the path towards sustainability?
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. Yes, Spain has a broad experience in this, not only the wine sector, but in the agriculture sector in general. And yes, cooperatives have a long tradition to promote social values, such as, for example, equity, transparency, and could play a very important role in that. Yeah, absolutely.
I think that brings us to a totally different perspective. the one of Patricio's reality. So the reality is quite different in Chile, where wine cooperatives are almost non-existent. So what would be, in your view, on the right vector for sustainability to be promoted in Chile, Patricio?
Yes, that's true. We don't have almost no cooperatives, but the good news that we're the only one that I have contact with them. They are very interested to join our program of sustainability code, the Chilean Sustainability Code, and probably we can use them as a pilot for this program with BSCI. And we have in Chile we have a diversity of factors. We have multinational companies, big, medium, and small-sized companies, small farmers, and we try to achieve the goal of sustainability with all of them and try to include that diversity. We prefer to talk more than harmonization of requirements. We try to use an approach of equivalence. That's why we certify in our program the company, the performance of the company. And the main vectors we also have as a Wines of Chile and strategy for 2025, trying to put in the track all the wine sector in the track of sustainability. And the first vector is of course the commitment. This is a voluntary tool, and we also have different research projects. And also we feel ourselves that we have a responsibility as a leader in the sustainability here in the country. The wine is a flag product for us. And at the end of the day also we have a responsibility, and we need to consider the consumer demand, the positioning, and the markets. The market is very important, and we have different recognition already with Systembolaget for listing Vin Monopolet, Marks and Spencer, SAQ in Canada, and we need to increase the number of retailers, wineries, producers, and I think that's the main vector for the Chilean wine industry.
So do we have any plans to include South Africa?
Yeah, I guess that question is for me. And certainly we are very much welcoming all the different initiatives that can join efforts to promote sustainability in a holistic way in the supply chain. So we've been in talks with Vieta already, and we are really hoping that we can collaborate and including in this project, absolutely, as well as France or Italy or Australia or New Zealand, Portugal. Yes, everybody is welcome to the project.
Okay, so there are no limits here. We do have another question. Someone is asking if it's possible to join the program without being a BSCI participant, and I think that addresses again Veronica.
Mm-hmm. And it's a very good question. I'm very glad that someone made that. So absolutely. So for those companies, the criteria to join the program is either you are a company or you are an association. And if you are already a member, an FTA member, then you are part of the program just by signing to the terms of adherence. You don't need to pay any extra fee for that. However, if you are an external company or external association, you can join with a 50% reduction of the regular fee. So you can definitely join and be part of this project.
For now, I think it gave us a very good impression of the key aspects and critical issues related to wine, as well as of the program in general. But now I would like to draw your attention to the future and ask all of you what the next steps are. Whoever wants to start is more than welcome to do so. So what are the next steps?
I can, I can take the opportunity. Yes, it's not easy to say the next steps, but I would say the first one would be continuing with the supply mapping of wine. That would be the first one. The second one would be for us, for sure, to form an internal working group and give internal information of the program, go to the different buyers and merchants and so on, and the main suppliers. Then parallelly, I would say identify the key players for the project. The DOP, like I said, orient, leading suppliers, brands, binders, and then for sure learn about, so analyze and learn more about the status of the different objectives of the program. Yeah, and then planning audits and capacity building activities. I would say that would be my mind map.
And that's already a few big steps, I would say. Thank you, Delia. And how does it look for you, Patricio? Is it similar, or would you make different steps? What does it look like in your case?
Okay, some of them are similar, others are a little bit different. This is a natural step for us because we already signed an MOU with BSCI. We already included the pillars of BSCI, the social pillars in our sustainability goals. And the board of Wines of Chile officially approved to join this initiative. So that's in terms of administration. And now we have to sign the term of adherence, and then we have the difficult selection process in order to be fair, because I imagine everybody want to join this program, and we already have 58 wineries certified in our program, and we need to choose exactly or to select to run a selecting process of 3 of them, and then try to share the learnings. We have a lot of information about how to implement a program like this, the problems, how to solve the problems, how to implement the certification scheme, and this is the last step, how to learn and how to share the learning of our program, and also promotion at the end.
And,
thank you, Patricio.
Sorry, I interfere.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, from our side, the next steps from the Secretariat side will be, I will say, in a short term, the first step is that we will keep reaching out to more institutions, more associations, more leading winemakers that want to join forces with us towards this sustainable wine supply chain that we are promoting with the program. As Patricio just said, there will be a lot of promotional activities, and for the first time, actually, I think in the BSCI, we will be giving a little banner for those companies that will join the program, so they can promote it in their respective websites, and we again share information in a regular basis with the different participants, so we can see the progress. The second step, immediate step, will be finalizing the KPIs comparison between, in this case, BSCI 2.0 and Wines of Chile, so we can make more concrete the KPIs on how we are going to measure the progress of the wineries. And then, of course, reach out for key stakeholders that want to become advisors or observers of the progress. We want to make sure that this program is transparent and in open dialogue all the time with key stakeholders. So in that regard, I really invite stakeholders that are listening to this webinar and might be interested to participate in the governance, either as an advisor or observers, to reach out to us, and that we can take them into consideration for the governance of the program. Then, of course, in the long term, it's almost an ambition, but we will be, I guess, verify that our approach and our theory of change is valid and is generating impact and is promoting better working conditions and the production and better production practice that are more respectful with the environment and with the human rights. So we can eventually learn from this project and eventually use a similar approach to other supply chains. So I think short-term and long-term are those steps.
Thank you very much, Veronica, and I think that's very clear, and in fact it was also a question from the audience what the next steps of the program are. And on behalf of GRÜ, I would like to communicate her next steps, which are to find committed suppliers to bring into the program, and also capacity building will be high on her list for the future as a next step. And if you recall, I was asking her previously about the shift in consumer behavior towards more sustainably and socially responsibly produced wine. And her answer is that she thinks that consumers are not too aware of the issues in production, and that organic is mostly known in Denmark, and that there also sense a slight rise in organic wine, and that they hope for other sustainable production methods are on the way. And if we don't have any question now, I see if there are more questions.
It happened to me a question to Delia. How is the consumer awareness in Spain, in her view?
Hi. How is the consumer awareness? Well, good question. I would say there is some awareness in terms of organic food and organic wine and organic, in general, organic products. And I would say there's a lot of skills and a lot of information, and some of them knows exactly what it's all about, but most of them really don't know what it's all about. So it's not easy to get there. It's not easy to transfer all the information which is behind each product, and if there is a added value in terms of sustainability. So I would say that that's a challenge too.
Thank you very much, Delia. One more question, and I think that's going to Veronica again. How, Veronica, is it possible, how can people join the program? So what is the exact approach to join the program?
So since this week, as you say, since Tuesday, we have a specific page in our website where companies and interested parties can address the interest to us. And then once we have received that message, we will get in touch with them with the different documents and for them to join. The registration path is available in the website since this Tuesday.
Okay, thank you very much, Veronica. Do you by any chance have some more questions to Patricio or to another speaker?
So yeah, thank you for the opportunity, but I think I was going a little bit too far of my position as a speaker, so I don't want to interfere your webinar, Monique.
Okay, so does someone else like to express some more views of you, Patricio, Delia, or GRÜ? If not, then I would like to very quickly wrap up the session and highlight the key messages. So today we have learned that the BSCI program is covering and targeting every production country. We have talked about the major social and environmental concerns related to wine, and that the program, for example, will target seasonal workers, but also environmental issues like pesticides, We have learned about the reasons behind the program and the key ideas, and the approach and what makes it unique compared to other programs. It goes, for example, beyond environmental sustainability and targets human rights due diligence. We have learned about the difference about regions with and without wine cooperatives and their different approach, and the importance of sustainability within the wine sector due to consumer perspectives. If there are no more questions, so there's coming a question in. And this is targeting South Africa, New Zealand, and Australia. And the question is if there are programs, if this program will receive any recognition compared to other programs out there in the market. And I think this goes to Veronica again.
Yeah, maybe I will need some clarification about the recognition, meaning if there will be any label that will be identifying the bottle. We don't have that intention. It's not part of the program. The program will be, as BSCI is a business to business initiative more than business to consumer. So we don't plan to have a label at the product. Therefore, in that regard, the recognition of the companies joining the program, we will see them in their own websites and blogs communicating about the program, but not at the bottom. In terms of implementation, definitely it will be recognized. As we are working now in Chile, we will try to do the same with the counterpartners in South Africa, eventually Australia and other countries. But for the time being, Wines of Chile was the first association in joining the program, so we have started working with them, knowing that anytime other associations from other countries will join, we will work with them as well. So did I answer the question?
I hope so, yes. If I'm not mistaken, Patricia wanted to make a comment as well.
I think in terms of consumers, we have a huge responsibility in terms of how to define, not to try to define or try to communicate, to promote what does it mean exactly sustainable wine or sustainable wine production. We have more relationship with the monopolies and traders, but in order to reach consumers, we need a common message, and it's not very easy. Another learns that we got with our program, it's better to start small and try to grow step by step, because we have huge challenges in order to build this program, and we need to start with something concrete and with a common message, especially for consumers.
Thank you very much, Patricia, yes, for your elaboration. Yes, Veronica.
May I say something, because I think what Patricia said is very correct, and we have seen it also from Gru and Delia perspective from the market, as well as from the research we've done. Is the consumer has a certain understanding of the environmental aspects of wine, but not necessarily of social. In general, in the wine sector, when we talk about social or where consumers, it's more about consuming alcohol with moderation, or not consuming alcohol when you are driving, this kind of social aspects that are very relevant, and by the way, they are not part of our program. However, the social aspect of working conditions and human rights violations in the supply chain is not necessarily well known by the final consumer. So as Patricia said, we will need to make some efforts to raise awareness with the consumer, and maybe this program indirectly, even if we will not have any label in the bottles, but just the fact of communicating progress through different dashboards and different webinars, we will be able to raise awareness among consumers as well.
Thank you very much, Veronica. There's another question coming in asking if capacity building training is planned for this program. And I think that goes to you, Veronica.
Yes, and the answer is absolutely yes. I think it's one of the vital aspects of this project. As I said, as I tried to say before, the theory of change of this program is based on two pillars. One is capacity building, and the other one is sharing and learning and lessons learned among peers. Of course, the auditing goes without saying because we also need a diagnosis. So every time we will be, before we start building capacities, we need to understand where the capacities are needed. And for that, we need to conduct an audit. But certainly, capacity building will be a crucial pillar of this project. For the time being, we will be addressing, we need to receive more feedback from the members that have joined this program to understand where the producers they are involving are. So we already know that Chile will be part of this program, therefore capacity building will take place there, and eventually as well as in Spain. But if there are other countries, we will need to accommodate capacity building accordingly.
That sounds very good.
Yes.
And Delia let us know that she absolutely agrees with Patricio and Veronica. If there are no more questions, and I think we covered everything which came in, I would like to thank all the panelists for joining the webinar and also for sharing their views and insights, and of course you as the audience for being interested into the session. And if you have any further question, please feel free to reach out to Veronica. You can see her details right now on the slide. And remaining questions and the ones you might send over afterwards will be collected and we will create an FAQ out of it. And I think there's nothing more left to say than I wish you all a great rest of the day. And thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.